friends, how are you doing? I really wasn't even going to make a video about this. My computer's about to die. I'm at 17%, so I'm going to try to get all this out here, what I'm seeing. But SoFi, what I'm seeing right now, I think what I'm thinking is happening here with SoFi, and I want to scream it off a mountaintop so everyone can hear it. But, SoFi obviously is something's going on here, and what's going on is that SoFi is reacting to the news that is going on around the world and here in America, and let me explain what. So SoFi just came off these amazing quarterlies, okay? So we just had quarterlies. So SoFi is already just boosting up into great numbers here. Even today, hitting, just mega numbers here. I mean, we're pretty much at $25. That's pretty much where the wall is, and I think we're going to pass that soon. I still think, just so you know where I'm at, I still think SoFi is undervalued. I think this is a $30-$40 stock by the end of the year, easily 50, maybe being the cherry on top. Now with that, SoFi is waiting. Investors are buying it up because I think they're seeing that there's a huge chance that what could happen here could happen. All this stuff with Putin, Zelensky, Trump, the European, NATO, all that, all of us could start to be friends again here. If some kind of agreement can happen here and there's a ceasefire, everything's wrapped up here, this will work out and the market will like this, okay? Now, obviously with that, I know Trump, and I'm sure Trump already has trade deals written up that he's going to, enforce and want on these countries, with Ukraine, with, Russia, all this kind of stuff. So there'll be tariff talk. There'll be all this stuff going on with that too. So you have that play right there, and that's a play that will ultimately, if it goes well, it will do well for the market, just because peace is good for the market. And two, back here in America, what's the next big thing happening here in September? Obviously, this week is going to be when we're probably going to find out yes or no what's going to happen. Two, rate cuts. If rate cuts can happen here in September, a couple rate cuts here by the end of this year, the market's going to go ballistic. But not only the market, bank stocks. SoFi having so much more movement and wiggle room to grow right now, it undoubtedly could go into some big numbers. I think that SoFi could leapfrog into bigger numbers here. I think 30 is very possible. That's like just a scratch on the back at this point. But $40, $50, I wonder if we can get, if the feds come out here and say, hey, we're going to do X amount of cuts. We're going to do 2 cuts, 3 cuts by the end of this year. Holy crap. That is going to really push the market up. But not only that, bank stocks, like I said. So SoFi, and then there's one more thing here you may be forgetting about. Third quarterly, if SoFi comes out, which they should here from what we're seeing, what we're gathering, come out here with another banging quarterly, close as it possibly can to $1 billion, undoubtedly will probably be somewhere in the $900 million range. SoFi, dude, this thing could get stupid real fast. I mean, I don't understand when people go like, what, that's not going to happen. That's ridiculous. Look at what happened to Robinhood this year. Look at what happened to Robinhood just months ago to now. Look at the growth on that stock. And there's probably a huge argument. I know there is, because I have a YouTube channel. I see people arguing about it where, fundamentally people think that SoFi is a better company than Robinhood. And there's argument all day which one has stronger pillars here, there. It's pretty much opposite ends of where the companies are. But SoFi, this is why, this could get really expensive real fast. And the reason why the stock is not selling off and it keeps actually doing the opposite, going up here, is because investors, they're starting to see what's going to happen here. So if SoFi finds itself in a situation here of continuous growth, continuing to grow here, and we go into September with the war ended, rate cuts are happening, Q3 right around the corner, you're gonna be wishing and begging that you could have bought SoFi at $20-some, okay? That is going to be the realistic situation here. Listen, I know people are negative on SoFi. SoFi has burned people so much, and trust me, you're looking at one of the burn victims. But we are in such a beautiful growth stage right now with SoFi, where SoFi is just in such a beautiful, youthful beautiful stage right now of life where it is very attainable, still at a very price mark for investors, but still in a growth pattern that could really get more aggressive here than what we thought. We've been messing with the lion here, but this could be the bear, the big bear, and I don't mean that bear in the market we don't like. I mean this is like the big bull bear, man bear pig. We'll say that that could be coming out here. I mean we could be going into big numbers. So really think about that. Listen, I truly believe this. I will die on this hill. But I think us as investors, one thing that we have to do in our jobs as investors is to look for context clues, look for breadcrumbs, look for what is coming in the market. And right now, if they're serious about this thing ending here in Europe, like with Russia, Ukraine, all this being wrapped up. I mean, this is the biggest steps we've seen yet. So if this can get wrapped up here, and I know what Trumpy's going to do, he's going to put tariffs on them. He's going to talk about trade deals. He's going to do it. This is it's going to be a win for the market. And I'm trying not to go into politics. I really am. I have no business talking about it. But, and that's not what I talk about on here. What I talk about is investor stuff. And right now as investors, this will be good for everyone. So I know I'm not really going over a chart. I know I'm not really talking about the inner details of SoFi, but I think there's a playbook here. I think there's a Hail Mary being set up here with SoFi, and people either see it or they don't. I am truly amazed when I see people that are negative still in SoFi, and I get it. Like I said, I've been burned by SoFi. I get it, but we are with a company right now that is in unbelievable growth. I like to get in early on plays. I really do. Even if it's really early, like, I was buying SoFi 2 years ago, okay, when SoFi was obliterated by the Cove, okay. I mean, this was a $3, $4, $5, $6 stock on a good day, and now look at where we're at with SoFi. This could be a really special end of year surprise for a lot of investors with SoFi, with a lot of bank stocks, but SoFi, I think SoFi is so unique right now because obviously there's other bank stocks. There's a ton, but a lot of them have been tapped out with earnings. A lot of them have been tapped out with gains. A lot of them have been just tapped out with every resource they can produce for you as an investor. Sure, they have dividends. Sure, they'll continue to grow long term. But SoFi, with such a youthful stage where it's at right now, it has a lot more room to go and bring to you as an investor. So like I said, this was just a thought video. I just want to put this out there because I was watching SoFi today and I was like, I know what it's doing. I know what's going on right now. I'm talking to investors. I'm talking to friends, and like everyone's playing this thing out the same. Now, obviously, if the horror story, we're hoping for the fairy tale story ending here, but the horror story is that this situation doesn't get wrapped up. Okay, and there's no rate cuts. That will do damage to the market, and the S&P 500 will stop growing this year. But I don't know that that's going to happen. I think that we are seeing very strong signs of a fairy tale story ending in the market this year, and that's what it's looking like. Of course, there's going to be shadows. There's going to be things that hit the market, okay? There's going to be some, pop-up scares here. But undoubtedly, we will end very good here from what it looks like. Friends, I wish all of you the best of luck in the market. I really do mean that. I want to see everyone succeed. It is a great feeling. It is a great thing to do to win against the market. Friends, take care of yourself. Bye, everyone.